Welcome everyone to our second Commissioners in the Dugout of the 2023 season. Tonight we have a really good focused lineup of some members of our staff here at Babe Ruth headquarters, as well as we are going to have representatives from Game Changer on at the end of our broadcast, which I think is going to be really exciting for you guys to learn some of the new items that Game Changer is bringing out. That's available for leagues and, more importantly, even for your tournaments for this coming summer. So with that, I want to get started. And first is introduce Michael Solonic, who is our National Baseball Commissioner. Many of you saw the announcement of Michael being appointed to that position in early January of this year, and he's working alongside Robert Faraday. So take it away, Michael.
Okay, thanks, Rob. So a couple of rule changes came out of our national board meeting in the fall. One of the first ones is the 8-year-old pitching change. 8-year-olds used to have the innings pitched model. They are now moving into the pitch count model. As you can see, they will be using the 9 and 10-year-old rules. So if you get a chance to look at your pitch charts, you'll see your days rest required for that. Another rule coming out of that meeting was permitting the jewelry in all of our divisions, whether it's baseball, softball, or even buddy ball. This is completely left up to the umpires to decide based on distractions, increase of injury. It's not to have the umpires step up and make those decisions proactively. It's more of actually to take a lot of that stress off of the commissioners and the umpires to say, is that a necklace? Is it not? So same thing as it's been in the past. If you need to tuck it in, tape it up. Also, medical alert and religious bracelets are not considered jewelry due to this rule. Another big change for us coming out of this is the Major 60 World Series for the 11 and 12-year-olds. Due to the decline in participation over the past few years, we've actually decided to eliminate that World Series. That does not impact local leagues, districts, states, regions. If your area is still involved in 60-foot baseball, you can still compete there. We are just not going to offer the 60-foot World Series this coming season. Another rule change that came out is on the financial side. The tournament team fees have increased this year. As you can see here, Cal Ripken Baseball and Babe Ruth Baseball, I believe Danielle is going to go over the softball side. But the 8s, 9s, and 11s are going to be $50 this year. The 10s, the 12s, the 13s, 14s, and 15s will be $75, and the 16 to 18-year-olds are now going to be $200 for their tournament team fees. Right now, I'd like to pass this over to Robert Faraday, Senior Vice President Commissioner. He's going to be discussing an update for the 2024 season.
Thank you, Michael. I'd just like to take the same opportunity and congratulate Michael Solonic on his promotion to National Commissioner. It's well deserved. He's been with us quite a few years and done great work. Also, we'll have the opportunity to hear from Shane Johnson, our newest employee, our partnership relationship manager, a very important new member of our staff. So thanks and congratulations to those two staff members. 2023 season review, and it's interesting when I haven't had much of a 2023 season, but what we're reviewing is the fact that it's been a challenge already this year for so many of our leagues and players across the country, with the hurricanes in the southeast and the tornadoes in the southwest, along with extreme weather conditions on the West Coast, leading to snow and plunging temperatures across the top of the United States and into Canada. We know what a challenge it's been just to try and figure out if you're going to have a season, when you can start, and how many players you have. So we appreciate all of our commissioners, all of our league presidents, and all the league personnel that are working to make that happen for the players this season. We're looking ahead a little bit even to 2024, where due to a survey that was sent out by the president, Stephen Tellison, to all of our league presidents, as well as our certified commissioners, the need to allow our leagues to find more players to address a player that's kind of slipped through the cracks for a few years, the 16-year-old player, by making a rule change for the 2024 season. And we will have a full rules memo out on this in May. But for the 2024 season, know that we're going to move the 13-15 division will become the 13-16 division. We're working to have World Series in the 13-year-old age, the 14-year-old age, and then 13-16, just like we did this year. The big changes being 13-16. One little caveat of that is the 15-year-old swing player will be removed, as those players now would have that option to play both or one or the other, depending on their status as high school players. There will be a specific age date for the 13-16 as well as the 16-18, and then again the high school eligibility rule. So we'll come out with more information in May, but I wanted to let everyone know that that is on the books. The Rules Committee, the Board of Directors have voted to move in that direction, and we think this will benefit our 13-15 leagues by again giving them more players and those players more opportunity to play locally. So thanks. We'll pass it back to Rob.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, everyone. At this point, I'd like to introduce Daniela Bottini. Daniela has certainly been on our staff a number of years, and I know that a lot of you are familiar with her from some previous In the Dugouts. Daniela is going to have her first In the Dugout with the acting title for National Softball Commissioner removed. So congratulations, Daniela. Well deserved on your elevation to that position. So I know softball's in good hands. I know that you don't have as many rules changes that impacted softball as much as what Robert and Michael needed to cover, but I do know that there is at least one or two items that you wanted to point out here on the rules side. So I wanted to give you a chance to go over that.
Okay. So just a couple rule changes that we agreed with on the Rules Committee this season. For the softball tournament teams, our fees went up as well. So across the board from 8U to 18U, it's $50 per team. And on the softball rules, the highlighted part here, we removed the penalty of advancing a runner one base on an illegal pitch. The rest of the penalty will remain the same. And we added to the existing courtesy runner rule. So after a team has used its eligible players for this rule, the team shall be allowed to use its last completed at bat to run for the pitcher or the catcher. So these rule changes, along with the baseball rule changes, can be found on our website. And now I will turn it back over to Rob.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It's always nice when those rules aren't as, there's not as many, right, Danielle? Okay, so now what I want to do is bring back Michael Solonic. Michael's going to actually go over some charts here from the end of the last week that Michael put together and explain the steps in which that leagues go through in the chartering process and to kind of show you out where we're at with some of our numbers and stuff. So Michael, if you want to take it away and explain to the commissioners what exactly they're going to be looking at here with some of the charts that you put together.
Okay. So some of you are probably familiar with the term payment approved, commissioner approved. Those are the steps that we use here at headquarters. A team submits, you as commissioners approve them to move on through the process. They're in the system, but they're not official. Once they're payment approved, they're officially in the program. So if you look at this chart, the green is all of our leagues, league-wide, that are payment approved. Everything above that blue line is technically unchartered as of right now. There's 33% of the population that have not even submitted to get to commissioner approved. The 8.69%, they've been commissioner approved, but for whatever reason, they have not submitted their payment yet. So that there is just the league-wide trend to look at. So 58% is where we are. The next slide is going to show us by region. Now we realize the weather is different everywhere. Some of you are starting to play, some of you are halfway through your season. Some of you, especially Midwest Plains, you're still shoveling snow, trying to get some time to play. But this is your region right now and where you stand. Two of the largest regions that we're concerned with right now in this time period is Pacific Southwest and the Southeast, since both of those regions should be pretty well into their swing. If you look, we still have 18% in Southeast, 15% in the Pacific Southwest that still need to charter. So within the coming weeks, we're going to be sending emails to each of these league presidents, reminding them to charter. Insurance is a big thing where if they're not chartered yet, there's a potential they have issues later on down the line. We're also sending out emails to the regional commissioners, which some of you might have got a list of your top 10 leagues or the leagues within your state. You can actually find those reports in your commissioner's tool. In that tool, you will be able to pull all of your unchartered leagues or late submitted leagues and have their team counts involved in that. So that'll help you guys, isolate who's late, has the date that they chartered last year, and how many teams they're responsible for. The next chart will show you by division. So we have Cal Ripken, softball, and baseball. Not really seasonality, not really tied to a region or anything like that, but just so you can see across the board where we're sitting. And go back to you, Rob.
Okay, thanks, Michael. When you look at these graphs that Michael kind of touched on, one of the things that him and I spoke about earlier today was an example of a league who many years ago we had in Mississippi, who they waited until May to do their charter, and a few months later they ended up having an insurance claim that came in, and it actually came in the day before they chartered and paid, and they didn't have insurance because of that. So any of the leagues that are under your jurisdiction that did not complete their charter and made payment approval for the 2023 season, if they had Babe Ruth insurance for the 2022 season, that expired all the way back on January 31st. So those leagues that are conducting any type of business, tryouts, any type of informal practices, those leagues don't have insurance coverage. So it's really important, no matter where you are in the country, to be reaching out to the leagues and making sure that they help to kind of move these trend lines along a little bit. The good news is that so far this year, our numbers have been running up compared to 2022. So we've been having a good season, but we got to continue to keep pushing the leagues to get in there and get their chartering done, and then eventually get their team counts to the proper level. So with that, these are the dates for the World Series events for this coming summer. This is on the baseball side. For what we would call our traditional World Series, these are the World Series that have the travel stipends attached to it. You see that the 10-year-olds are in Crown Point, Indiana. They are our first-year host. As Michael talked about in the rules, there is no Cal Ripken Major 60 World Series this year. The Cal Ripken 70s return to Branson, Missouri. The 13-year-olds are back in Glen Allen again for the second year in a row. The 14s are in Stafford and Fredericksburg, Virginia. That World Series is going to be played at the Washington National Single A affiliate, the Fred Nats. The 15 is at the location that has probably held the most World Series in our program, Jamestown, New York. So we're excited to be returning to Jamestown. And then another first-year host is going to be in the 16-18s with Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And this is actually going to have the most amount of 16-18 teams participating, because we are going to have 7 international teams that are going to be taking part this year in the 16-18 World Series. So we're really excited about the international participation, and especially having it at the 16-18 and in Cape Girardeau this summer. Then On the Cal Ripken invites, the Cal Ripken invites are open to any team that wishes to participate in a World Series event. That means that any chartered league program, as long as the league competes to the end of their tournament trail, is welcome to sign up today for the World Series and to come. We have World Series in the 8-year-old age group for Cal Ripken. We have two. We have the machine pitch in Ocala, Florida. We have the player pitch in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. We have the 9-year-old and the 1170s also in Ocala at the same time as the 8-year-old machine pitch. And then, of course, we are back at the Treasure Coast for 2 weeks. And you can see that the age group breakdowns are similar to last year with 4 age groups, 12 to 18U in week 1. And in week 2, we have the 8s and the 10-year-olds on at the Treasure Coast. So those are our World Series dates, and your regional commissioners have when the regional tournaments will be starting and when your state or district tournaments need to be completed by in order to be eligible for the regional tournaments for this coming summer. Okay, Shane Johnson. Robert already introduced him, but Shane, it is great to have you here working alongside of us. And I know that you were going to touch on opening day, which in many parts of the country has already taken place. So Shane, take it away.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Rob. Thank you. Again, just to reiterate, my name's Shane Johnson. I'm the partner's relationship manager here. I also I'm the man behind the social media. So I'd just like to start off by saying our opening day is pretty much in full swing, our campaign. We do realize that, you know, some people already had their opening days. We are getting a lot of people going back to, you know, past pictures and hashtagging our hashtag BRL opening day. And we're getting more and more posts, which is something we love to see. We want to reiterate that, you know, we have opening day signage. We're going to have our banners, and the best way for you to get these banners is to reach out directly to me, SHAAN @baberuthleague.org. And, you know, if you email me, I'll be able to get those banners or, you know, any signage out for you guys in a timely fashion. So hopefully you've been getting our emails and seeing our social media posts so far. I know I've been seeing all your posts and opening day posts so far. There's tons and tons of photos I've been sifting through each and every day. It's kind of awesome. I get to come into work every day and scroll and look through awesome pictures of kids having fun, you know, parents and coaches and volunteers putting together an unbelievable opening day. So it's just kind of cool. I get to come into work and see the hard work our volunteers, you know, put together for these kids and to have a fun opening day. I'd also like to shout out our first week's winner, Palaka, Babe Ruth in Florida. You know, we're getting in connection with them. They're going to have a $50 gift card on the way for Dick's. And we're excited. We're excited to see who the next winner is going to be. Again, we want you guys to use the hashtag BRL opening day. We have lots of leagues and parents posting to it, and we're excited to see and to repost you guys. We're happy to see the kids. We're happy to see the coaches. We're happy to see the families. So with all that being said, I guess I'll pass it back to Rob.
Thank you, Shane. With that, as Shane alluded to here, I'd like to introduce Alex Trezza from Game Changer. Alex, welcome to In the Dugout, and take it away.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone that went before me. You know, we're grateful at Game Changer to have this partnership with Babe Ruth, and I'm excited to show you some of the new stuff that we have in the app. You know, obviously we have the great scorekeeping, as you alluded to. That remains the same, and if not even better with our new app, more robust and more features. But with that, we have the ability to do video streaming, so live video streaming, which I'll get into a little bit in more depth in the following slides. But basically, with a couple touches, you can broadcast live any event that you want, and there'll be a scoreboard overlay. The stats will integrate, et cetera. And again, we'll go into that a little bit in more depth in the next couple slides. With that as well, you'll get auto highlight clips of every player. That will happen just from scoring the game. It's a really cool feature. It'll elevate your players, your teams, and certainly the different leagues that you guys are, running. The digital scorekeeping, again, really robust, intuitive platform that gets everything that you need to kind of follow the game and get those robust stats, including spray charts, regular stats, and then also advanced. And then the last thing is obviously the scheduling and messaging features. That's a really great way to kind of manage your team all in one spot. So talking about the live streaming, some of you may have moved from the classic app to the new app already. So you may be familiar with this, but this is really gaining steam. We just crossed the 2 million live stream mark at Game Changer, and really it's only been around for a little over about a year and a half. We're really proud of that, and we're providing value with just one more step to our customers. And basically, right now, most of you, if you're just scoring the game, you're doing it with one device, either an iPad or an iPhone, maybe either in the dugout or beside the field. With one more device, with a fence clip put on the fence behind home plate, you can live stream that event. All your fans and anyone that follows the team will be able to watch that event. The scoring that you're doing will overlay on as a scoreboard, as you see in the picture there. That will do everything from the score of the game, who's hitting, who's pitching, the pitch count, and then obviously guys on base, the count, the inning, so on and so forth. Some great features there too. You can soft touch the screen while you're watching and get real-time box scores, play-by-plays, and even have the ability to share that stream with someone or create an individual clip that's not already being clipped from the game. And the way the highlight clips work, it's really amazing. So just by scoring the game, you're actually time stamping that video. So if one of your players is playing that day and he has 3 doubles, just by scoring those events, it'll drop into the player library in the app. And then after the app, you're able to go in there and check that stuff out. It's really cool for player development, very easy with one touch to send to social media. And then also, for the older players, as recruiting starts to come into what they're doing, easy way to share with coaches. Really cool stuff and really easy to do. Live streaming is completely free. All right. So utilizing the app as a team or an organization, right, is always free. The live streaming is as well. The paywall for the fans will start after the game is over. So you can bring this live streaming to them 100% free, just like the regular management of the app itself.
Alex, one thing that I wanted to ask and point out to the commissioners. So the days of actually having, like a camera set up, a wired camera, making sure that the park had some type of, Wi-Fi or hardline internet at the park. This is, Game Changer has really developed something here where it's, I literally could take my iPhone out, put it on the fence, and then I can basically live stream the game right from the backstop, right?
Sure. Yeah. And what's great about what we've done at Game Changer is we've made everyone, have the ability to be a production company, right? And elevate what is happening on that field that day, right? And for most of the people that we come in contact with in youth sports, right? The game that's going on that their kid is playing or their players are playing, that's the most important game of the day, right? So to give that value, which, just in your back pocket, and that ability to live stream that to your fans, and then take that up a notch, right? Create, these great highlight clips that you can share with family and friends. We think that's been such a great value to our customers, and we'll continue to make that even better with all the cool stuff that we're adding on to that as we move forward. So one thing that's really cool about the new app, and a lot of you are used to the tournament features in the classic app, really intuitive platform. The new game changer again takes that to another level. Within the app, you can monitor the standings for that league or that tournament that's going on. You can schedule all your events from within that league. You can track pitch counts and easily send that out as pitch count reports. One of the newest features is the leaderboards. So just by scheduling the game, scoring the game, you'll get those leaderboards. So who's leading in that league in home runs and RBIs, ERA, so on and so forth. And then just by creating a team in Game Changer, which most of you guys are doing now, once that team is created, we can pull them into the league and then do everything from within that league, from scheduling, looking at all the stuff that we just talked about, and then also seeing in real time, what the score is, what the final score is, and also seeing like what games are still being played throughout that day. So we're putting all that tournament and league functionality into one spot. I will say that the league functionality, where every team starts at 0 and they play out that season, that is more advanced right now in the new app than the actual tournament feature. But we are working, tirelessly to get that up to speed. But the overall functionality of the new league and org functionality, as we call in the new app, is really, really robust. And we have a lot of partners that are benefiting from it right now and really love what we're doing with it.
That's great. Alex, I know for the World Series, we obviously get a lot of help from you guys and your team, but just so some of the commissioners know, or, for their tournaments, or even for advising with the local leagues that have different platforms, for different website companies and stuff like that. Is it very easy to, basically take Game Changer and be able to get a link that they're able to post on a website for people to go to that says, hey, here's my links to my 9-year-old state tournament or this weekend's tournament, et cetera. Could you explain to everybody how that sort of works?
Sure. And again, just to be clear, the tournament features aren't as kind of brought up to speed as the old app, but we do have team pages. People can follow either on the web, on the mobile device, kind of in both spots. But it's not the same as like in the old app where there's widgets and stuff like that. We are building those now, but you certainly can follow. You can share team pages. You can certainly share something that's really cool in the new app is the actual live stream. If you're live streaming the video, you can watch it on a mobile device, or you can watch it on your computer or smart TV, because there's now a team page that has its own unique URL where you can direct those fans and family members too. So really great features in the new app. If you guys have any questions about, really in-depth questions, feel free to shoot me an email. The information's right there, or our softball senior partnerships manager, Anna Nickel, as well. And we'll certainly answer some questions now if we have that going. And again, I like to use the phrase changing behavior, just because it's a new app. It still has great functionality, but it's a little bit different than the old one. But again, we have a ton of usage. A lot of our clientele has moved over to the new app because of all the great features that we're providing now. So it's just getting the new app. It's very easy to migrate all your old teams over if you have some history with the old app. And that can certainly help everyone kind of get moved over to the new app and answer any questions they may have.
Okay, great. And I think one of the ideas that we kind of talked about is that Game Changer is really good with, doing your own webinars that are rather robust and in detail, to kind of take a deep dive into the specifics of, working this from a tournament event side or from a local league side. So you guys have a couple of them coming up and things that you'll be scheduling in time.
Sure. As far as like education to the community, yes. And we can do smaller ones, bigger ones, whatever we think is the best way to get the information across. Part of what we do every day, right, is education and getting directly with our customers and partners. to get them up to speed of what's going on. And sometimes there's frustration with a new platform, but it's usually mitigated very quickly. Just when you understand, I used to look for it here, and now it's in this part of the app. So usually the barrier to learning the new app is just understanding where stuff is, basically.
Okay. One of the questions that we have here is from one of our commissioners who works in the media side here, Todd Anderson from California. This one I wasn't really sure how to answer, so I'm going to have you kind of take a stab at this, Alex. So not to throw you on the spot, but can the game streaming integrate multiple cameras, add announcers, roll advertising between innings, add sponsor graphics to the screen? Todd certainly has some really good background in this stuff, but if you want to take a stab at that,
that's a lot to unpack. And to be honest with you, yes to all the questions. You can kind of go down a wormhole with each one of those. You can certainly add announcers. We've had basic broadcasters that are doing it with like AirPods, which will connect to the stream, all the way up into like a 4-camera or more, like ESPN type production. Maybe Todd, I'm not sure if anyone else on the call will understand this, but basically just redirect its RTMP feed that basically each game has. So there's an RTMP stream key and a URL connected to each game. So we can direct it to multiple cameras. One of the partners we have, Mevo camera, that's a smaller little production camera that Logitech makes. You can do multiple cameras with that. So there's multiple levels of that. And you can certainly, overlay some ad, space and stuff like that. So Todd, if you want to talk, we can have a deeper conversation. There's so many different tentacles off of that one question. But I guess an umbrella answer to everything you ask is yes, we can do most of that stuff. Yeah.
That's great, Alex. I appreciate that. I knew that was going to be a lot to unpack. So you did good with that. One more question here is, obviously scoring the games, I'm used to obviously scoring on a paper book. That's archaic now anymore, in this day and age. Game Changer is so easy to use. But can you talk a little bit about how they might be able to get their stats out, or how they would be able to see stats either from the app or from the web?
Sure. Right now, currently in the new app, and we talk to customers all the time, and they were very familiar with Classic, as mentioned before. In the old app, there was the ability to send out the stats XML in an XML file, right, which would connect to some of these website portals, so to speak, right, and be able to display that right on websites. The new app does not have that capability right now. We're looking into that. We get that question a lot, but you can export a CSV file and then populate it. And maybe if you are using a different type of software to get it on the web page. But it's not, there's not a straight path to the website right now. Again, that's a deeper conversation that I'd be happy to have with anyone that does have that. But we are looking into the XML option in the new app because we're getting a lot of questions about that. We want to provide the greatest value from the app with the stats as we can. So things that we're looking into. Again, the new app just it has so many new features, and as we go, we're building more and more onto it. Whereas the old app was built, it works, everyone was happy with it, but it's kind of breaking down at this point, right? So we had to build this new app, and then we're building onto it, and we will continue to be able to build onto it 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. So we're not having some of the same issues with this migration.
That's great. Well, Alex, I really appreciate you taking time out here tonight to meet with some of our commissioners to talk about it. As we said, your information is in the deck, and we would ask our commissioners to really reach out, learn as much as you can about Game Changer. I can tell you that all of us who have the opportunity to work with Game Changer at the World Series, it would make your life so much easier to be able to follow all the games going on in your particular tournaments. And I know that your teams would enjoy the technology that's going to be at their fingertips on their phones to be able to watch games, stream games, all kinds of stuff. So Game Changer's been a leader, and we are very fortunate to have them a partner with Babe Ruth Lake here for as many years as you've been. So Alex, thank you again for taking time out here tonight.
Thank you for having me, and certainly, yes, everyone reach out. We're available. We want to help and make your lives easier. We know it gets crazy once the season gets going. So thank you again.
Thanks again, Alex. All right, with that, everybody, I know that we've kind of gone through a lot of any questions that you had during the Q&A here tonight. It looks as if we got things either answered live or we were able to write back to you with some of the questions that you had. So continue to look out for emails coming from us here at headquarters for you as commissioners, as well as communicating with your leagues. And if at any time that you have any questions or issues that you're dealing with, please remember to contact us here at headquarters, from Robert and Michael on the baseball side to Danielle on the softball side. And of course, the rest of us here, from your customer service reps to Shane doing opening day and social media things. So feel free to please reach out. That's why we're here to help. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again on another In the Dugout coming up here in the next couple weeks. Have a great night, everybody.